So yes, good morning everyone. Welcome to this masterclass, How to Embody the Goddess. Stopping all that self-doubt, stopping questioning yourself and really coming into your own. I'm really excited to be welcoming you. So let's get started. I know people keep joining, so I have to keep an eye on that. But you can let me know in the comments where you're joining in from. And yeah, welcome. So I put this together because I constantly see successful women who you might think have it all. They have amazing work, they have amazing lifestyle, perhaps they have a partner, they have abundance, they have really lovely holidays, they have nice handbags. And I found even with women that we may perceive have it all, they still self-doubt themselves. And I've seen it a lot recently. Because we're allowed to be out more now, I've been traveling around, I've been to a few different conferences, and I've seen like women literally shaking, like energetically, inside themselves. And it's like they're shaking with this low self-esteem, like this lack of confidence. And it almost feels like there's an energy of they're worried they're going to get found out somehow, like found out for being an imposter or not being good enough. And, doing the work I do as an activator of the divine feminine, I'm really like tired of seeing this, wonderful women who don't really realize this deep power that they have within and not really honoring themselves and, trying to prove themselves from the external world, such as accolades or client success that they have, and not really just embodying what I call this goddess frequency. So this is what this masterclass is about. So for those that who don't know me, my name is Kelly. I am an activator of the divine feminine, and I really work with women to reconnect them to this latent power within that we have been disconnected from for a few thousand years. So I really help women through the womb space specifically, because for me, this is the temple, the embodied temple of our divine feminine. And there is a way that we can embody this and then once it's kind of embodied, is really live from this frequency in all aspects of our life, not just our business or our relationship, but all aspects. So that's me. And let's get started then. So I want to really invite you to start by closing your eyes and just taking some deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth at your own rhythm. And just start to call your energy into your body now. So you're calling it away from people, situations, work. You're really breathing and calling this energy into your body where it belongs. This is home. This is the temple. And just settling down into the chair, feeling your back on the back of the chair, giving your weight to the chair. So just settle into you. And then I just want you to ask yourself, how would it feel to know that all of your needs are met? There's nothing that you're wanting, worrying about, trying to catch. Just try and tap into the frequency of all of your needs are met. Just feeling how that feels. How would it feel to relax and enjoy receiving some of your desires, some of those intentions you've been working on? So rather than a forward energy of getting them, you're leaning back and they're just coming to you, dropping into your lap. How would that feel? And then how would it feel to have that big miracle happen in your life? Perhaps it's a big intention, a dream, a goal. Maybe it feels far away, a little bit impossible. Connecting to that now and just imagining how it would feel to have that happen. Or the certainty it's happening. And just taking another deep breath now, coming back to the physical edges of your body and opening your eyes. And just coming back all together. So this frequency is available to us, and I would invite you to practice tapping into that frequency of what that feels like, because it's there and it is available to us. When I ask women what success looks like for them, I've been speaking to a lot of women lately about this, and the general themes are, they want to be happy, we want inner peace, we want to feel at peace, we want flow and we want ease, and we want to enjoy those special moments in our life, perhaps with loved ones. And a key thing, especially with my clients, is that they want their business and their life to make an impact in the world. They really are here to make a big impact, to make a change, to be the change. And yeah, that's a really lovely intention to own if that's something that is deep within your heart and soul. I find a lot of women that has to be teased out of them. We kind of a bit shy about that, and that shyness, underneath that is a lot of things like fear that it won't happen, questions of who am I to want that, and actually not giving ourselves a full-bodied yes to our desires, which then disrupts the flow. So all of these things that we look for, what we define as success, because for me, success is an individual thing. It's not, I don't like it when it's defined by what society says success is. And so I found that most people actually struggle with trying to get these different types of success. And I found it's because they are not fully embodying the divine feminine, that part of us that brings this beingness. So rather than a doingness of doing things to get this success, a beingness, being the frequency of that success, which is what the feminine brings. The feminine is embodied by beingness, not by logic and reason and strategy, but by being that frequency. And by being that frequency, you're embodying it, and then it becomes. This is the feminine path of initiation that's been lost. The other part that the feminine brings is this receiving. So, this receiving energy, this magnetism of, actually, women find it very difficult, I found, to allow ourselves to be supported, to allow ourselves to receive things with ease and grace, not with hard work and, making sure we give the exact exchange back. We really are kind of calculating and not allowing ourselves to receive just because we are. And so that is not embodying this goddess frequency of just like honoring your birthright as a goddess and allowing yourself to receive. And then the other part that the divine feminine brings is this connection to our highest vision and purpose. So our divine feminine is the part that sees all and knows all. And so without her, we are on struggle. We are in burnout, and we are almost trying to prove that we are enough, to prove that we're worthy of success by making all the things in the external world like fill ourselves up to make us feel enough. And we need to do some reverse engineering here to fully work on embodying our divine feminine so that all of these external things fall into place with ease. And whether you have these external things or not does not affect your worthiness, because your worthiness is infinite. It is not part of the stock exchange that goes up and down depending on if your relationship is good or not. If you have a relationship, it doesn't go up and down depending on your business, doesn't go up and down depending on what's happening with family or friends. It just is an infinite, untouchable magnificence that's embodied within and cannot be affected by these external things. But this infinite worthiness, that when you tap into this field, a kind of good benefit, a good side effect is that all of those external things become easier and they come to you with grace and ease. The thing is that this reverse engineering takes a massive leap of faith and trust. And that's why I find that women really come and work with me to have their hand held through their process, because you have to stop doing the masculine mode. You can't say, yeah, I want to embody my divine feminine, and then carry on in overdoing the masculine. I love masculine energy. We are about 50% masculine energy, and so we need strategy, thinking, and doing. But the reason why I focus on the feminine is because she has been lost for a few thousand years, and we've been in overdoing masculine. So in order to do this reverse engineering and take this leap of faith into embodying the divine feminine, it can't be done through lip service. It's an energetic shift in your vibration. And so when women work with me, they start to receive the upgrades in their energy so that they can surrender and trust and start to live from their divine feminine. So it's not just like a concept or a fad or a new buzzword that we're picking into, but that we're actually starting to embody the yumminess and the infinite magnificence that we are. So what I want to do today is share with you kind of my 8 steps to embodying this goddess frequency. But before I do that, I want to really just go into, why do we self-doubt ourselves even though we have success? And I think the key element is because essentially you're not fully embodied actually with the divine feminine within. The feminine, has been sidelined. It's like we live in this patriarchal world, which is a man-made world, because those that are in power create the systems, create the language, create the structures and the education and the conditioning in order to favor them. That's just what happens. So when new power systems come in, they start to shift things and make new laws and new structures in order to serve themselves more. And so what's happened in this patriarchal construct of a man-made world is that the masculine way, the thinking, the strategy, the doing has been placed as the norm. That is like the norm of how things work. And so then anything that is not that, including the feminine way of feelings, intuition, beingness, embodiment, the body, sensuality, is seen as deviant, as evil, as wrong. And there's actually no place in this world for her. And that is still very much showing up in terms of pay gap, in terms of not having flexible working, meaning not honoring the mother and maternity and that nourishment for humanity. We're seeing recently in the US reproductive rights, women are not sovereign in their own bodies in a lot of places. Women were owned by men as almost chattels for a few hundred years, and this is still in our DNA. And the feminine body, the female body, is really seen as the place of original sin. And this is in our DNA, it's in our blood, it's in our cells, it's in our psyche. So then our divine feminine spirit, she's been cast out, she's been lost. And from a core shamanic perspective, this is soul loss. When we experience trauma in our lives, part of our soul leaves. So if you have like a serious car accident or something highly emotional happen, then often you're not really fully aware of the pain. And that's because your soul is leaving. And so this has happened to women, and I'm talking all women, because we've all experienced this or been touched by this. And because it's so part of the norm of society, we almost can't realize it until we start doing the work. But women, we don't really have our divine feminine energy embodied. And so that's why those that have done Awaken Your Womb with me, a big part of that, the most important module I always say, is this soul retrieval, this recalling and resurrecting of the divine feminine essence. Because when this happens, we can begin to trust ourselves. Our inner voice comes online and it's super strong with no daughters of patriarchy overtone. It's like a liberation of this patriarchal matrix that we're able to come from. And so then without this, we don't trust ourselves. We've been conditioned to go outside of ourselves for authority. And even if we rebel against that authority, it still feels like this heavy oppression around us. And, what this oppression is saying is that we don't matter. Our voice doesn't matter. Our wishes don't matter, our desires don't matter, because women have been conditioned to give. Everything is external, and whether we're good or not, or lovable or acceptable, is judged by how much we give and what we give. And so then we're left flapping around from one thing to the next, trying to anchor ourselves. So this is why we self-doubt, because we're not essentially in our bodies fully. We're not really online with our deep, authentic voice and our inner fullness, and what comes from that is this almost assertiveness, this knowingness, this, I really talk about the throat being the mouth of the goddess, and when that's connected to the womb temple of our inner goddess, it's like it comes up and it is spoken, the word is spoken, it is not going through any filters of, is this okay with this group of people or my family, or is this acceptable at work? It just comes through. And so without that, then we doubt ourselves. Is this okay? We're constantly like editing and filtering ourselves according to the external, instead of allowing this inner voice, this deep authority to shine through. Now, when she is on board and you fully embody the true goddess aspect, the left-hand side of God, of Christ, because there was never a male God, that was recently made with patriarchy. There was always the God and goddess in the union of the two. And it's the union of the two that create the divine child, the Christ consciousness, this love frequency, and in fact, the power of creation throughout the universe. And so that's why we activating the divine feminine, embodying the divine feminine is really a key point in stopping this self-doubt, so you can really settle into this inner magnificence. It's like we've been taught that we're not sacred, we're not important, we're not magnificent. Because if we knew that, if we connected to that, oh my, would we be powerful? We would be so powerful. There would be a force to be reckoned with, because you know that you are divine and that you are creator and that you have, you know, this impact that you want to make in the world. So you're just going to go and do it. And so now I'd like to share with you the 8 steps of how you can embody this in your life. And then at the end, I'm going to share with you a powerful, energetic activation. So as I'm going through, if you have any questions, you can just pop them in the comments, and I will make sure I deal with them at the end or as I go through. So just love to hear how this is landing with you, how you're feeling, what this is bringing up for you. Okay. So the first step then to embodying this goddess frequency is about really deepening your sacred purpose. So once the feminine is in, it's like, what is she here to do? This sacred purpose is about knowing that you know what you're here to do and how you want to do it, without the mental messiness, without, well, I've learned this methodology and this kind of process, and I've got this. And, you know, I see a lot of women with kind of many hats trying to meld it. So almost taking that off and connecting from within and really knowing that highest potential of yourself without fear. And, you know, we need this. We need more divine feminine leaders on the planet. And that doesn't mean female, because there are some female leaders in the planet that are not in their divine feminine at all. But when the divine feminine is embodied, you have these natural tendencies for compassion in your business and the impact that you're making. Instead of the psychopath kind of culture we see in a lot of leadership and big corporations. Divine feminine brings in collaboration instead of individual empire building. And also the divine feminine cuts through this noise because you really carry this authority. You have this unique voice. You have this mission, you have a true mission, and you are creator. So you have this certainty that carries through in the frequency of that delivery of that sacred purpose that you're able to carry in all of your creations. So how to get to this, really, there's 3 points. The first one is to really clear out all of the conditioning that are stuck in the model of how to run a business, how to be in corporate life, all the ways where you're trying to be accepted. So that all needs to be cleared out. It's like we've got dirt on our windscreen, and that just all needs to be cleared out. Then it's about connecting to your deep inner temple, your sacred womb space, which is the power of the center of power, of creation, of wisdom. And this is where your unique soul essence is communicated to you. And maybe you already know your sacred purpose, but it's like it comes through on a richer, deeper frequency that carries an inner knowing in your bones and your voice when that comes through. And then the third part is to really clear these medicine women wounds, the fear of being seen, the fear of your own power, of being too powerful, the fear of being persecuted and tortured, vows you made to give your power away, vows of poverty you made. All of these medicine wounds need to be cleared so that you can be fully on board, fully ready to be delivering and honoring your sacred purpose and all that it is. So then the next step is about tapping into and feeling this deep inner worthiness, because your success is limited to how you feel about yourself, and this cannot be plastered over. It's really time to feel this deep inner peace that comes from knowing that you are so very, very worthy in every cell of your body. And when that happens, you are literally dripping in radiant confidence. Um, and, you know, self-worth in my world is created from within. There's no amount of external accolades that will fill that. Handbags, promotions, bonuses, car, house, none of those things. They're empty gratifications for trying to prop yourself up. And I'm not saying that these things are bad. I love wealth and I love abundance. But when it's coming from trying to fill the void of not feeling enough, it's a distortion. But when you create the self-worth from within, it's like all of these things become a nice side effect, and they don't matter actually as much. You're not attaching your self-worth to them. So, how to start tapping into this self-worth? The first step is woman has been taught to give all of herself to others, and this needs to be reversed. This is the first thing, to reverse the outward flow of all of your energy, because actually when you're giving away your soul essence, your unique, rich, creative energy, your primordial energy to create, your unmanifest potential to others. And that leaves you feeling empty, depleted, tired, and your creations, your own personal creations, will never fully get off the ground because there's nothing left for you. So that needs to be reversed. And then the second part is to start to feel okay with receiving, to really allow yourself to receive and to allow yourself to feel full, to feel sated. This is really important. And then the third step is to really radiate that out into the world. So step 3 then, so we've done sacred purpose, we've done deepening your inner self-worth. Third part is about really developing your own channel of wisdom. I really know that every person has available to them a unique wisdom that is sacred and that needs to be shared out into the world. Most of what I share and what I teach has come from my own inner well of wisdom. Through embodying the divine feminine myself, I've tapped into past lives, multi-lifetime spiritual gifts and wisdom that's come through me. And I believe that we all have access. It's like we all have a piece of the jigsaw puzzle to deliver. So tapping into this inner wisdom within means that your voice and message can become unique and stand out into the crowd, and it touches the heart of millions. And this is really important because I see a lot of women learning modalities, you know, and they have great intentions, but then their vibration is like they feel a bit inferior. It's like this message has come from others, or it's not mine. They're not fully owning it, and they're not doing it in their own way. And so this is where imposter syndrome comes up. So practically how to do this: first, about clearing out the womb space. So as I said, the womb space is this power center of your wisdom and your creativity. It's the portal of life, the way that you create things. Now, medicine women, a lot of our womb is laden down with toxicity, and that can be trauma from our lifetime. It can be trauma from that we've received through our partners. So I have another webinar that you can check out, which is something like we contain within us all the energy of the men that we've slept with. So there's an energetic exchange when we are in intimacy with people, and often unconsciously being projected into women is the unprocessed emotions of men. And that isn't to blame men or say they're wrong. It's just something that happens in that exchange. And so this space needs to be cleared out, because once it's cleared out, then there's space for you and for your wisdom. And also, if you have any trauma in the womb space, such as grief and miscarriage, sexual abuse, abusive relationships, it's like when that womb space contains that information, you don't want to connect to it consciously or unconsciously. And so a lot of us are disconnected from this center of power and wisdom. So it takes really clearing that out and then starting to connect to this wisdom, consciously working to connect to this wisdom, tapping into this wisdom. And the feminine way of sharing wisdom is that you absorb it. It's not like a download where you write a book and then you share it. It's like it becomes absorbed into your cells and then you speak it out. That has to be that action of speaking out. Otherwise, you're not providing the space and channel for that wisdom to come through. I'm just going to take a bit of water, and I see there's some questions. Okay, yeah. Can you clarify in practical terms what it means to reverse giving? Yes, I can. So this is going back to my point on self-worth, and I said the first point is to reverse this giving energy that we all doing. So so to reverse it then, this is the first step, is taking an audit of your life and seeing where you are giving and where perhaps there is not a fair exchange. So, you know, friends, family, work, money, having a look and just taking an audit and having a real look at where you are giving too much. And then the second part then is obviously to start to change it very practically. So just holding yourself back when you are stepping into overgiving, perhaps it's some conversations around boundaries. And then women that work with me, I have a very powerful energetic practice where we reverse this and energetically, so that you stop giving all of your power away. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Now I'm on step 4. We've got 8 steps to go to. So this is about building wealth. You know, and I want to ask you this question: how would it feel to be a wealthy woman? To have wealth, to feel safe and secure in the knowledge that you can create wealth in any moment in time. You know, we need to reclaim money for the mother. Woman, you know, when a woman has wealth, a divine feminine woman, she tends to take care of the community, of the collective. And it's almost like we need to reclaim wealth for women, because, you know, if you look at some of the stories around Mary Magdalene, for example, of which I'm part of this lineage, Mary Magdalene in the Bible, she was known for pouring like a whole urn, a whole jar of spikenard oil over Yeshua's feet. Now, so one of the apostles commented something like, wow, you know, that oil could have fed the village for a year or something. So it was very, very precious, valuable oil. And this is just a hint at this power of women, the circle of women that were surrounding Yeshua and in fact supporting him financially. And so, you know, women used to have a lot of wealth. It was known to have wealth, and so we need to reclaim it. So how do you do that, Anne? The first thing actually is to start tapping into your divine masculine energy, because our divine masculine energy is that safe container to provide for ourselves. So this is about really like coming up for yourself and saying, hey, I need to provide for myself, I need to do this for myself, and really activating that divine masculine power so that you can provide for yourself and feel confident that you can provide and feel certain that you can provide for yourself. Um, then the second part is to start to really invest in yourself. I find so many women, they find it easy to invest in things for their family or even their business because they can justify it. But there's a lot of guilt when it comes to spending on themselves. And I've spoken to some of my private clients recently, and it was like, I'm a money spender. I feel so guilty for spending on myself, and this is a sign of not valuing the feminine actually, and not worshipping her fully, and not showering her in abundance. So really allowing yourself to start to value the feminine and investing in the feminine, because in a way then you're saying that this is important. I am important. And that worthiness then, it carries out through your entire vibration. It's a statement of how important you are. And then the third part is to start to unlock your abundance flow. Start to work on the energetics of why there might be laws, vows of poverty, why there might be blocks in flow, like blocking receiving, not allowing yourself to receive, having stories in your psyche about you have to work hard for money, unlocking all of this so that you can reclaim wealth for the mother. Step 5 then is about loving your body, your dear body that does so much for you and that has suffered from the mean words and critiques that your inner saboteur says. Now is really the time to worship the body, actually, because the body of woman has been desecrated. She's been put into a narrow set of definitions of what beauty is. And it's time to renounce all of these societal conditions of what beauty is and what woman is and what woman's body is, and reclaim her as a temple of wisdom and your own power. So, first of all, that takes releasing all the conditioning of the wounded feminine. There's almost this collective field of conditioning that says that your worth is defined by your external beauty and your youth. And it's like there's this worship, collective worship of the maiden, and a real disregard of the mother, and the crone is nowhere to be seen. So we really need to release ourselves and unplug from this collective wounded feminine matrix that's keeping us like on the conveyor belt of fitting in and being accepted. And then it's time to rebuild your relationship with your body, to start to take stock of what you've been saying, how you've been saying it, and just start to change your relationship with your body. And start to worship the body as a temple for the divine feminine. So just much like if you would go to a temple, and make offerings and do an altar and pray and make offerings, my invitation is to do this for the body, because the temple of the divine feminine is your body and the body of Mother Earth. So the more that you can really honor it as a temple, the more she's going to come home to you. So I'm just going to have another drink of water. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear how this is landing with you, if you've got any questions. And we're getting on to step 6, which is having deep and meaningful relationships. And I think all of us really crave intimacy, a real connectedness and closeness, to be really seen, to be really held as a woman. And I found that actually we unconsciously push it away and make do with dishonoring patterns. It's really time to claim our desire for that deep intimacy and connection, because a lot of this intimacy fears of pushing it away is because we don't feel it's possible. Maybe we've been alone for a long time. Maybe we see our partner and we think, well, that's never going to happen with him. And so then we start to dampen our desire force when we do this. And how we relate is a key template for our inner union of God, Goddess, and it's time to bring them back to the divine. So how to do this then? There's a lot of divine feminine teachings or feminine teachings about relationship, but this is not about playing the princess waiting to be rescued or playing the diva, which is actually about playing games and manipulating. This is about you claiming your God, goddess, queen energy in and calling in your God King. And it's amazing. Women that I've worked with where their man has been disconnected or he hasn't been very intimate with them, when they start changing and shifting, he changes too. So practically then, this is about really claiming your desire of what you desire in a relationship and being really honest with yourself, even if you don't have it yet, rather than dampening it down and saying it's not possible. Just really starting to claim your desire for intimacy, for closeness, for deep connection. And then working through your fears of that. It's similar fears actually to the medicine women wounds, fear of being fully seen, actually not being fully in the body. A lot of us have our inner teenager running our dating life. So really almost feeling good in yourself and your body and your mind and your spirit, like feeling at one with yourself, actually, like they say, loving yourself deeply attracts in that partner or shifts your partner's vibration. So yeah, that really goes on to the relationship. And then connected to that, step 7 is about sensuality and sex magic. This is about releasing the shame around your sensuality and your body and allowing yourself to feel unending pleasure. There is so much available to us when we open up to our sensuality, when we begin to really honor the home of the goddess, the body, and all the magic that she has available to us. Because sexual energy is life force, it's the power to create. And if we have shame around that sexuality, that sensuality, if we are hiding it, if we are shying away from it, if we are not wanting to fully show up in our sensuality, then we are saying no to our power to create. And so this is a really important, juicy thing that I really like working with women on, because the steps to do this is, one is to get really clear on your intentions, because sex magic in particular is extremely powerful and it's been abused a lot. It's been abused a lot to bring in manifestations and creations that are of a lower vibration, are of about empire building for me, myself, and I. And really, this work is only for those that have clear intentions that are for the highest good for themselves and others. It's really like working with sensuality and sex magic is a real calling to clear up your intentions and really be working for high magic. And then the second part is to start to ignite your desire force, this desire force that has been dampened down because it's shameful, that has been dampened down because we don't think we can get our desires, so we pretend we don't want them. But start to really work with your desire force and in the sacral area, not in the head, thinking and intentions, but in the body, working with this desire in the body, allowing yourself to feel that warmth and pleasure of your desires, even if they're not sexual or sensual or relationship in nature, but just the what I feel with sexual energy and sensual energy is actually the joie de vie. It's just the the orgasm of life and of beingness and of being in this body, that when the soul comes down, it's like, wow, I'm in a body. This is amazing. And just allowing yourself to sink into that vibration. So yeah, they're the two things. When it comes to sex magic, I really only share that with women that I'm working with in my program, because as I said, it has this ability to be abused. Women, divine feminine teachings are the power to create through the sacral chakra, through creation, through building Shakti, through building desire force. And it's extremely powerful. And it was corrupted when they closed down the mystery schools, when they closed down the goddess temples, and a few just kept that magic for themselves to create this construct that we live in. And so it's really time to tap back into that, because it's within our bodies. Then the final step 8, is about taking to the throne. So this is about knowing in your vibration that you are queen and ruler of your domain. And now is the time to step into and onto your throne and really allow yourself to do that. The place where you are rightfully honored in all domains of your life. And this is where the fullest embodiment of the goddess is a lived experience in every aspect of your life. She has arrived. And we need this. We need women in power. We need divine feminine women in power. And to remember our sacred birthright, like what I touched into at the beginning, this frequency of all of your needs are met, and really stepping into that frequency and allowing it to be. So the step to do this is say yes. It's so simple in a way, but really say yes to yourself, to your inner goddess, to your desires. And I love this saying, like, you take one step towards the goddess and she'll take 1,000 steps towards you. But you really need to claim that desire, that intention, because I will say, if you don't claim it, it comes away from you. So you might have a vision, like your highest vision for your purpose or what you want to realize in the world. But if you don't fully say yes to it and step into it, it almost melts away and it gets given to someone that will. That is a universal law. It's not punishment. It's just, evolution is on its way. Things have to get done. The powers, the higher powers and the guides are like, we need this happening. And so you need to say yes to it very clearly, and then start taking those steps towards it, even if it's a huge goal. You have to say yes, and you have to start taking steps towards it, and then it will unfold. Otherwise, it could go away. Okay, so I can see time is running away from us. So they are the 8 steps. I now want to share with you a powerful goddess activation. And then I've got something really exciting to share with you. So let's go and do the goddess activation. I'm just going to have a drink of water so I can feel my throat going. Okay. So closing your eyes and breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just allowing your breath to sink down into your body. So with each breath, you're sinking down through your chest and your heart. Breathing into your heart. And almost just taking all your attention and awareness into your heart. So it's like you're inside your heart, inside the physical heart, energetic heart, sacred heart. Just looking around and feeling your heart. And then almost on the floor of your heart, there's a door going down. You open up the door. You see a spiral staircase going down. Feels dark and mysterious, but you're feeling called, pulled. So allowing yourself now to start to walk down the spiral staircase. Feeling this warmth, this mystery, to come deeper and deeper down, all the way down, till you arrive in your womb, your sacred womb space, temple. Breathing deeply down into the sacred womb temple, just taking a look around the room, just noticing what's there. This is a place of restoration, a place of remembering, a portal of resurrection. Breathing into this space, noticing right at the center of the room a fountain of liquid light sprouts up. You walk over to the light. This fountain of light. And from out of the fountain steps out your inner goddess. Notice what she's wearing, how she carries herself. Allow yourself to take in the vibration of your inner goddess. What does she have to say to you? What does she wish you to know? Perhaps she has a gift for you, a symbol, an object, something to help anchor her in her energy. Receiving this now into your hands. Giving thanks to her, embracing her, she falling into you, you into her, until you find yourself standing before the fountain again. You turn Find the spiral staircase, knowing that you can come back here at any time. And you start to climb up the stairs, bringing all of your energy up, climbing the stairs up and up and up, till you come back into your heart, breathing deeply into your heart, wiggling your fingers and your toes, coming back to the physical edges of your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I would love to hear how that was for you. Please let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I know there's also people watching on Facebook. Hello, hello. Thank you, Andrea. Beautiful. I love doing those. I think they're really important. And the way I work is actually sharing practical wisdom, and this is from a living mystery school, the things that I share. So really sharing that to activate it within you, then an activation. And people that work with me, it goes a lot deeper than this. I need to know you to take you deeper. And then the practical mentoring of how to implement this in your life. So I really want to thank you for taking part today. And if this has you all fired up, then I would love to invite you to my brand new program. I've never done this before, and it is called Embody the Goddess. This is a program to really integrate and work through everything I've shared with you today, to integrate it into all aspects of your life, and to go through everything I've shared with you with me by your side. And I'm really looking for 7 sisters who are going to join this initiation program. This is an initiation program where we meet monthly for 8 months, and we meet twice a month. The first month is going to include a lot more depth and wisdom. And then I'm going to be sharing with you a very powerful activation that you get as a separate meditation, and you can keep working through it. And then we meet again for a second circle where I personally mentor you. So this is like where you come on and we speak with each other, and you get to be mentored to really work through this process. So this is the program. It's 3,000 for 8 months. And if you book by this weekend, it was meant to be today, but I realized I'm speaking to you today, then you receive over 1,000 of bonuses, and that includes my Awaken Your Womb course. So that is my foundational program for cleansing and clearing the womb space. It's women that have done that. It's been amazing. You also get access to my Activate Your Sexual Power course. That is about clearing shame around the body, igniting the desire force, and you get a private mentoring session with me. So those bonuses alone are worth 1,000, and you also get this amazing experience where we work through for 8 months together. I'm also doing a few other things. One thing is I'm going to do a money back guarantee, because I have some women are like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work out for me. And I want you to know that if you didn't get anything out of it by the end, then I will offer you a full refund. I really know that this works for women. Everyone that's worked with me has said that every other woman needs to do this work. So I don't want like fears of will it work for me to get in the way, because I know that when you work on this program, you start to really feel different about yourself. And it's like an inner knowingness. It's not me that teaches you something. You become this frequency of the goddess. And so that's why I'm really excited to be offering that money back guarantee if it doesn't work out for you. And then I'm also going to offer private mentoring SOS. So as you're working through this circle, we go through everything I've spoken to you today, month by month, deepening your sacred purpose, relationship, wealth, the body, developing your inner self-worth. As we go through these points and you get stuck on something or something isn't working out for you, then you can message me privately and we will work through it together, or it'd be a quick call. They're very laser focused sessions, and you know, clients that do that usually pay me 2,000 a month, so that alone is worth so much. I'm really excited to, you know, welcome people to the circle. So if you have any questions, let me know. I will put the link down below as well, and I'm going to read some of your comments because it's really exciting to see what people got. So here is the link to Embody the Goddess, and I'm just going to see. Oh, Charlotte, no worries for what missing half. It is in my Facebook group, and I'm only going to keep it there today, so you could catch up in the Facebook group to watch the first half. It's probably worth listening to. Chandra, my inner goddess placed a lapis lazuli in my heart. Wow, lapis lazuli is this lineage. That is the stone of this lineage. That's no surprise, Chandra, because I know that you're doing the circle, so that's absolutely confirmation. Oh, Athena, my symbol was an upside down triangle. Upside down triangle is the sacred womb space, divine feminine. So that's divine feminine, like that picture behind me. And then the masculine is the other way. So gorgeous. You got lost in the meditation again. You can go listen to it again. Rachel, I got a pyramid crystal as well. Oh, Athena, well, you both did awaken your womb, so maybe that's why. Oh, Rachel, thank you. Having done womb awakening, I have to say there's no chance anyone could do it and not get anything out of it, ladies. Beautiful, thank you. Oh, someone got a blue cape. Again, that's the symbol of this lineage. A red heart in my palm. Oh, I love reading these. I'm just going to have a check on Facebook. It's a bit difficult to see the messages, but let me know and I'll go and check later. Okay, so, oh, we've somehow warped time there. That last bit only took 10 minutes and we did the goddess meditation as well, so I love that. So reach out to me if you're interested in this Embody the Goddess 8-month circle to really embody this aspect in every area of life. Thank you so much for joining live. As I said, this is only going to be live. I'm not sending out any replays. It is in my Facebook group just for today. So please go and have a look. And yeah, thank you so much. Lots of love.